If you thought Castor Hanglands was a Dactylorhiza hybrid nightmare, just cop a load of this lot. In case you haven't guessed, we're at Wansford Meadow, stroke Wansford pasture, to check out on the Southern Marsh Orchids. My favourite Southern Marsh Orchid site anywhere that I've ever travelled to, and yeah, always good. We're about a week earlier than we usually are. I usually come out on the 16th of June for some reason. Last two seasons it's the 9th today, so we're a wee bit early, but even if they're 2/3 out, that's fine. There'll be enough for us to see what's going on. Southern Marsh, common spotted, hybrids are plenty, so yeah, let's go and check it out. Blimey, I thought I travelled up north again there. I thought I was in the land of the Northern Marsh Orchids. Quite a nice vibrant Southern Marsh there. That's a very heavily marked flower. You'd almost guarantee that was a hybrid, but it's not. It's a pure Southern Marsh Orchid. Absolutely no markings on the leaves at all. Yeah, that's a very nice one, that. Good example of why you can't judge. You can't judge these simply by the flower, because looking at that one I'd probably again go for a bit of common spotted going on in there. But it isn't, it's a pure Southern Marsh. There is absolutely nothing on it to suggest any input from common spotted orchid. It's a pure Southern Marsh. Now that one is a hybrid. That has got spots on the leaves. So I guess, you know, those two loops, pretty good clue I suppose, if you're going to look out for anything on the flowers. I don't know if you can pick out the Southern Marsh sort of hiding in amongst the undergrowth down here. I mean, it always looks like this. They're always down here at this point. In a week's time they will come out on top. It's no taller than it usually is, and these are really beefy Southern Marsh Orchids when they get going. As I say, there's at least another week's growth in them. You have to be careful where you tread here, but they're dotted around everywhere and they're quite happy in here. Another very richly coloured flower. I mean, you could almost move these up to the north, and they're not quite as vibrant as the Northern Marsh, but you get away with some of these. They're very dark, and a lot darker, a lot richer than you see at the other Peterborough sites. Hiding away, deep down near my feet, common spotted orchid, first one. There's not many here, but they do exist, hence the hybrid population. Lovely healthy plants, very fresh, very vibrant. More of those loops on the flowers, and there are spots on the leaves. Total hybrid, that one. Another common spotted, only the second one. I was going to say it's a pure common, pure Southern Marsh with a very nice backdrop. I'm just trying to see if the leaves are marked there. Are they marked? Are they marked? I don't think they are. I thought there were some faint markings, but no. I think that's a pure Southern Marsh Orchid with a nice backdrop. I can't get over how dark and rich the colourings are. I think they were last year, but yeah, there's certainly a much richer tone of purple than I've seen anywhere else here or on travels. And there's a lot of them, huge numbers. That's a very big, bold, in-your-face, probably from its size alone, a first-generation hybrid between common spotted and Southern Marsh. Gloriously stout and well-marked plant. I don't know if you can see the leaves, but they're almost as good as the flowers. Oops. There you go. Very bold plant. Markings overload on this one, which is a hybrid common spotted Southern Marsh. One's a little bit different, in fact it's two of them, pretty much identical. Have retained quite a white throat to it, makes it stand out a little bit from the rest. It's a hybrid, by the way. Right, that's field one, done and dusted. Going to walk around now to the second field. Never quite sure which one is pasture and which one is meadow. I just call them both meadows. This is meadow one. Good showing, cracking numbers of Southern Marsh Orchid. They're all almost identical colours. I mean, you know, it's that rich dark purple. There's nothing pale going on in here at all. They are all very vibrant. The only differences between them are slight differences in markings on the flowers because some are hybrids. But they're all very rich purple. Really good to see, and big numbers. About 2/3 open, but yeah, really huge numbers. Really good. Of course, the minute you say they're all exactly the same and there's nothing pale, you nearly tread on a pale form. Although it's not really a pale form, it's more of a, this is usually what they look like at most of the venues that we've been to. It's a little bit paler than the norm, I suppose, but it just stands out because the others are so richly coloured. But I take back what I just said. They're mostly the same colour. You just get the odd pale one, like this one. Whenever I walk between the two fields here at Wansford, I mean, this field always looks like it would be fantastic for a whole range of orchids, but there's never any here. You know, it looks like a classic sort of flower meadow, but without flowers. It's obviously a geological thing, and I'm not knowledgeable enough to be able to explain better than that, but yeah, you never get anything. I'm sure if I roamed around long enough I'd probably find something. But any orchids in this particular part, in this sort of section that links the two fields, any orchids are down the bottom to the left from where the stream is, and you'll find more Southern Marsh and a few common spotted. In fact, there's one just hiding down here, just to prove my point, in amongst the long grass. The good thing about these intensely coloured Southern Marsh orchids is you ain't going to miss them. A couple of very nice plants down here. I was going to say this was a common spotted because it's got superb spotted leaves. Didn't look too much like a Southern Marsh flower, but it's a hybrid. Mainly because the stem is very hollow. I've tested it out. It's got marsh orchid in it. And it has stunning flowers, that one at the bottom in particular with the purple fringe. Very, very tasty that is. And there's a couple of others just nearby, bear with me. There's two very nice hybrids here. There's that one, and then what I think I will call I'll stick my neck out and say this next one's going to be Orchid of the Day. That is a belter. And that is also a hybrid. Beautiful markings. This one's an absolute giant. I mean, the stem on this pure Southern Marsh, it's almost an inch wide. Real powerful beast. Nice one. There's always been a lot of Southern Marsh orchids here at Wansford, but I don't think I can ever remember seeing so many sort of pebble dashing the ground all around me. I mean, everywhere I look, I see these vibrant purple plants. As I say, you can't miss them. You really can't miss them, and they are everywhere. Huge, huge numbers. Absolutely crazy. Brilliant showing. It's getting silly now. This one is almost red. It's a very intense red purple, pure Southern Marsh orchid. Crazy stuff. Oh no, it's a pyramidal orchid starting to come out. I've got nothing against them apart from, as I've said before, they're synonymous with the last orchids of the season, and I don't want to be anywhere near that. We're still not even mid-season yet and the pyramidals are coming out. Well, there's always a few early ones, so I won't get too depressed. Right, we're heading down into field 2 now. This should be fun. Actually didn't expect that one to have spotty leaves, but it has. It's a hybrid with a pale form of Southern Marsh behind it. A pale hybrid. It's very similar to some of those we saw at Castor, and leaves me with the same problem as those at Castor. This has spotty leaves, therefore common spotted. It has a solid stem, therefore common spotted. So it is a common spotted. It certainly's got no Southern Marsh in it. It's just got bold markings, I think. Certainly want to throw you off the scent. There's actually a nice one next to it. Put that in the same camp. Spotted leaves, solid stem, common spotted orchid. He just doesn't look like one. That's a nicely marked pale hybrid. Some very good markings on that. That is something I'm going to rustle around in my back for. Where is it? Here we go. That is a clonker. An absolute clonker. It's a hybrid. This one's got a hollow stem, spotty leaves. It's a hybrid, but what a wonderful flower that is. It's fair to say that field 2 is upping the ante somewhat. We're going up to another level of orchids here. That's another hybrid and another beautifully marked one. They're almost rarities in this field. I mean, literally fingers on one hand. In fact, more fingers on one hand than common spotties that I've seen so far. That's a nice one. Another belter, a sort of dusky pink coloured, and it's a hybrid. I know you're probably getting bored of seeing these, but I tell you what, out here in the flesh, these are just mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. They're only hybrids, common spotted, Southern Marsh, but fantastic. Really are fantastic. Look at the size of that one at the back. That is a brute. And it's only half open. That is going to be humongous in a week's time. How stunning is that? I mean, that is just, I'm just sitting here grinning. It's just, you know, that is a family group, 4 identical hybrids, beautifully, beautifully marked. Brilliant. What a bouquet that is. Right, that's usually the quiet half of this field. The better half's on my right, and we have yet to explore it. This is usually the most spectacular of the field, so I can't see how it can be much better than what we've seen. What we're walking on at the moment is a bit of high ground, and we hit a ridge. You don't really pick it up on the camera, but I'm looking along the ridge now. The ridge is sort of going in that direction, and the water runs out underneath this ridge onto the plateau there in front, and it's limestone rich water, or limestone washes coming down. It's that the orchids love here. Yeah, let's go and take a look. Wow, just a shed load more if I don't fall over. What a turnout. Tremendous. What a wonderful sight. Very small, very dainty, very pretty, absolute 1000% pure white alba form of the common spotted orchid. Always good to see. Another absolute brute in the nicest way of a hybrid. Really is. It's a big one. I'm actually walking past and ignoring very, very nice orchids now, because very nice ain't good enough. I'm just picking out the absolute gobsmackingly brilliant orchids like this one. Beautiful hybrid again. I am prone to the odd superlative or 10, but this place is just blowing my mind. It is staggering. I have just never seen such a density of orchids anywhere. It's just crazy. Breathtaking stuff. I mean, I haven't finished yet. I'm still looking. It's going to get dark before I finish. Absolutely staggering this place is. It's got to the point now where, as I say, I'm just looking for mind-blowing orchids as opposed to outstanding orchids. It's just, the bar is so high here. It is unbelievable. And anyone who's watched my previous Wansford videos will know there's a certain orchid that I saw here once and it wasn't here last year. And that's kind of what I'm looking for, which is kind of unfair because I'm ignoring everything else to try and find what is almost a once in a lifetime orchid. But there's so many Southern Marsh orchids here that I figure, well, it's, you know, if it's ever going to be here, it's going to be here. It was the orchid of the season, I believe, or my orchid of the season in 2020, and it's here. It's at my feet and I have found it. So that is just the icing on top of the icing, on top of several layers of icing on this evening's cake. It is right in front of me. Yeah, I'm almost shaking here. It's just unbelievable. I'll share it with you. There she is, only about a third open, but unmistakably a very clean white form of the Southern Marsh Orchid, and these are exceptionally rare. Exceptionally rare. I think it's the same one we saw previously. I mean, give this 10 days, this is going to be magnificent. I may have to come back just to photograph this. But yeah, this is what I dreamt I might find on my wanders, and I found it. White form, Southern Marsh Orchid. Oh, and it's a clonker, by the way. How could it not be? Father and son, hybrids. Okay, she's getting silly now. Really, really silly. I mean, that one looks like it's struggling a wee bit, but that is also, I've looked pretty close, I thought it was a common spot, but it's not. That is another white form of the Southern Marsh Orchid. There's no spots on the leaves. It's a pity it's a bit scrunched up. It might open up a bit in the next 10 days, but that's two on the site, and that is incredible. Absolutely amazing. Not as good as the other one, which is still just opening. This one, I don't know, it might be going over. I think it's just, it's not in a great state of health, but it's here. And it is a second white Southern Marsh Orchid. Amazing. Ridiculous. Just ridiculous. Amazing. I've run out of words now. 2,000, 3,000. There must be 2,000 in this field alone. Southern Marsh common spotted hybrids, common spotteds. But what a fantastic mixture. So vibrant in colour, such variation as well. And I mean, two white Southern Marsh Orchids, that's nuts. Yeah, that is just nuts. There's nothing I could have dreamt of seeing here this evening that I haven't seen twice over. Absolutely brilliant. It's done this to me before. This site has blown me away before. When it's good, it is really good, and it's never been as good as this before. I mean, this is a double plus. Get out here. If you love your orchids, as I've said before, you ain't going to see better than this within 50 miles of Peterborough. It is absolutely magnificent, and it definitely retains its crown as the best marsh orchid site for God knows how far. Certainly beats Fullborn Fen, as I said it would do, very easily. Absolutely brilliant. I'm exhausted really, overload of amazement really, just stunned by it all. Really, I won't sleep tonight. It's just mad. Yeah, I'm glad I saw it now. Nothing's going over, it's all in good condition. Absolutely fantastic. Wansford Meadow for you.